I'm very emotional. I think that I feel the obligation. I feel frustrated, honestly, with myself because I spent so much time over the last couple weeks just focusing on the half that I hate right now, like the half of the country that I despise. And I'm frustrated about that because you don't get understanding through frustration and hate. And I think that what I feel guilty about is knowing that there's an obligation to a whole other half, of the country, and feeling like there has to be a conversation, a come to Jesus, as they say, with so many people because we are really not on the same page. And I am at a loss at this point for how to get there.
Angela Rye is still crashing out. No, I almost didn't cover this story because I felt like the story had passed because she had been crashing out ever since the election happened, the results came out. But it just continues on. It continues on, clip after clip after clip. If this woman don't go somewhere and seek therapy or something, because this is getting sad at this point. She literally said she hates half the country. She hates half the country for how the election turned out. Is that the response of a reasonable person right now? This is what I'm saying. Like, people that got all this emotion tied up in the result of this election, like, it doesn't make any sense. Your life is going to be the same. But this is the Native Land Pod. Tiffany Cross, Andrew Gillum, and of course, Angela Rye. They're wondering, they're pondering their existence right now. They want to see if their podcast should keep going, if they still have something to contribute. I'm telling you, if you get this emotional about this, I don't know how you had a career in politics or anywhere close to it, or the law, or whatever you do for this long. You're showing that you have absolutely no backbone. And that's the problem here. We had people who were so loud and fervent in telling us one way to think and act and vote off of what? Off of pure emotion, off of their opinion, off of what they had been told because of the access that they had gotten. That day is over now. Our information is now been democratized, and you can go to multiple sources online and figure out exactly what's going on. You can see things from more than one perspective. You won't get stuck in an echo chamber like the Native Land Pod. Andrew Gillum, Angela Rye, and Tiffany Cross are definitely in an echo chamber, and they don't want to come out of it. Unfortunately, you don't learn anything in an echo chamber, and you continue to dictate to people that you think are dumber than you outside of the echo chamber, and you end up with egg on your face like you did this election. Every time.
You don't get understanding through frustration and hate.
Tell me about it.
And I think that what I feel guilty about is knowing that there's an obligation to a whole other half, of the country, and feeling like there has to be a conversation, a come to Jesus, as they say, with so many people because we are really not on the same page. And I am at a loss at this point for how to get there. And so I think you guys know I'm fiercely competitive over all kinds of ridiculous things. But what I really don't like to do.
And that's what this seems like. This seems like the competition, the competitiveness and getting your way is the most important thing here for people like Angela Rye. People that just don't want to be wrong. They don't want to have lost this election. And we got to leave those people behind. Some of those people are in our family. They're the same people that are saying they're going to disown people and not invite them to Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever family get-togethers because of the way they voted. This is childish behavior. These people have been turned and gaslit into some type of, I don't know, somebody that doesn't have perspective. And it was all a game in the first place, but they can't afford to lose the game. This is the same person you play Monopoly with, and things don't go their way, and they start landing on your property, and then they want to flip the board over, right? Grow up. You need to grow up, Angela. And we're not going to allow you to be a grown-ass lawyer / television personality sitting up here crying over an election, and you don't even know what's coming down the line, what's going to happen. You only have what you've been fed by the campaign, which the campaign has actually changed their mind. They're actually meeting with him, having a peaceful transition of power. It was all a game, and you can't realize that.
I think you guys know I'm fiercely competitive over all kinds of ridiculous things. But what I really don't like to do is I don't mind saying I don't know. I don't mind admitting I don't know. I hate not knowing for an extended period of time and feeling like the overwhelm of I don't know where to turn to find the answer, right? Like, I don't even know if at this point people will be honest about their reasons for voting for the other side, or if they'll be honest about who they really voted for, because they probably know us or have seen us and wouldn't feel comfortable telling us the truth. So where do you go to solve an I don't know when you're not even confident that people will be honest with you? You know what I mean? And it's like the weight of that. We were in our group chat earlier.
Who's got time to do all that? Who's got time to lie and hide about their true intentions? I mean, obviously, if it's something that you culturally fear that much, you need to question your people that surround you. And what they're not really ready for is when those people get tired of being rejected and turn around and reject you. So if you think somebody is lying to you to get in and then they voted for the other side, they probably shouldn't be around you if they feel like they're going to get some type of repercussions for expressing their own civic duty.
We were in our group chat earlier. And by the way, group chats are now triggering to me because I feel like, when are we just another echo chamber where we're in our own bubble? Because now we're all getting off Twitter, because now Twitter is going to be the hellscape. And now who are...
Yeah, and I'm so sick of this whole talk about everybody's leaving Twitter to go to Blue Skies. Like, Blue Skies has to be the biggest cope of 2024. Like, you all can't survive on a platform that, you know, some people disagree with you on. Like Twitter hasn't been a cesspool for years. Like, the real funny thing about X, Twitter being run by Elon Musk right now is that it's exposed so many people, how special these people are. So now they're going to go over and do the same thing they did on Threads on Instagram or whatever. And like, oh, we need to get away from Twitter and do something more positive. So they're going to all be over there stroking each other's egos and licking each other's wounds or whatever the hell they do over on Blue Skies. That is the biggest sorry sack. So everybody's been right then about you all needing participation trophies. This whole generation of people, I say this a lot too. These people that are responding in this way have never played team sports. They couldn't have, because part of learning what it takes to be in team sports is learning how to take a loss. And, you know, it makes no, you know, we do have a lot of women on that side that are really, you know, acting out and really emoting right now. This is a time where it would be good to listen to men who actually have been through this and could give you some perspective on it. But instead, you're turning them away, you're writing them off, you're kicking them out of your family, which is the dumbest thing you could possibly do, especially when you think that there's an impending danger. What happened to the men that would be able to protect you in a moment of crisis? You don't think about that because you don't value men, and that is the core of why Kamala lost. This coalition that you all built does not value men, perspectives, intelligence, or even leadership. This is probably why it goes back to the dating scene. Why there's so many single women out here. You know, they don't want to be led, and they're going to lead themselves into a burning house and not be able to get out. When you've got a perfectly fine somebody here that could lead you, and he was most likely telling you not to vote for Kamala Harris for a myriad of reasons, very valid reasons.
Feel like, when are we just another echo chamber where we're in our own bubble? Because now we're all getting off Twitter, because now Twitter is going to be the hellscape. And now who are we going to talk to beyond our bubbles? Because we all think at least similar, maybe not the same, but similar. Anyway, I digress. My point is, we were in a group chat earlier, and there's this conversation about if my Rainbow Coalition essentially is a thing. Like, are we going to all be able to come together as people of color and do the damn thing? And the conversation was like, no, I don't think it's a thing. And I can't lose that hope. Like, if we lose that hope, we don't have a path, y'all. Like, we really don't. If we cannot figure out how to be in coalition in solidarity on multiple challenges, on multiple fronts, for multiple policy issues, we are
Yeah.
We are. Like, there's not a nice way for me to say, Dad, sorry, I had to cuss it. There's no other way for me to explain it. We are if there's no coalition, if there is no coming together for a larger group, there is no path to victory. And I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose.
That's real.
Well,
Tiff, where you
That's
at?
where I am.
Well, I just want to say this about the coalition building.
And Tiffany, with her shirt on here, says it all. Expensive and difficult. Expensive and difficult. Is that what you're advertising right now? This is a travesty. You need to listen to men. And I've tweeted this for years and nobody paid attention. Right around election time, ironically, listen to black men. Black men are telling you things that you're not listening to. And the guys that are in your coalition are absolutely trying to kiss up to you in most ways.
Resonated with me. And to dive in just real quick with you, Angela, this whole idea of not knowing, I've really wrestled with this. Like, can I be so disconnected from a set of people, perspective, lived experiences that things still stun me in the political space, which I thought, and I think probably for the three of us, we have had at different points in our lives pretty strong commands of and on. The other thing that has really vexed me is this, data that's showing that, we had 2 million fewer Democrats turn out to vote. Independents outperformed Democrats. There were first more Republicans who voted.
And that's one thing we really need to examine. The fact that so many people didn't show up for this thing. Like, even with them coping and saying that, 80% of black men voted for Kamala or whatever the number is, because the number keeps changing, obviously. They keep finding votes. They keep finding votes after the election. I don't think that's strange. Yeah, right. So much so, I think they're trying to even change the popular vote standing to say that Donald Trump didn't win, which is fucking crazy. But we need to also talk about those people who didn't vote at all. They were so turned off with the whole election process, yet they didn't want to necessarily take the jump into a Donald Trump, a vote for Donald Trump. But these people didn't show up. And so you have to count that into the shellacking that happened on that November 5th.
Second, more independents who voted, and third, Democrats. That's unforeseen in the history of this country. And so part of what I hope, and I take as part of our responsibility, is to deepen into what's going on within our own house. What is happening within this space where a lot of us share ideological family perspective, that 2 million of us felt like we had no motivation between 2020 and 2024. The threats weren't clear enough.
I think part of my trauma this week is seeing every single one of his criminal cases falling off.
Yeah.
And there are people
Yes.
that are diehard supporters of Donald Trump who are like, oh, it's God's favor. No, it is not. It is white supremacist privilege that only applies to this man. And I cannot figure out why. It's again going to spiral me to I don't know, and I can't figure out why. So I'm going to table it there. But please, Andrew Gillum, while
The fact that these Trump cases have fallen away doesn't give her the indication that some of them might not have been above board. Some of them might be exactly what he was saying they were, lawfare. These cases were not strong. And a lot of them came at the exact time that he decided he was going to run for president. So that should tell you exactly why these cases are now falling away, because they weren't worth a damn when they brought them. In the case in New York, the case was so weak that Deutsche Bank actually comes in and testifies on Donald Trump's behalf, saying that they received all their money for this loan, that you're saying he misrepresented the value of Mar-a-Lago, when that wasn't even the determining factor on why they gave him the loan. And they expressed that in court. But this was brought up as 34 counts. He's got 97 counts. They kept having this running tally of numbers. And I know, like I said, Charlemagne was one of the biggest parrots out here. Charlemagne's had a change of heart recently. But he was getting his information from who? Angela Rye. And Angela Rye and all these people who push this stuff and whipped people into a fury, you can't be surprised now when these cases get thrown out. You know, Charlemagne was one of the main people that was out here passing this around, talking about 34 counts, 92 counts, 91 counts, whatever they were talking about. When Charlemagne on his podcast with Andrew Schultz, the Brilliant Idiots, had a few words about why the Democrats are weird and pretentious.
Dude, but don't y'all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy? They're not calling him a fascist? I mean, damn, on Monday.
They're not calling him anything.
They can't. On Monday, they was just calling him that. I would think that, you know, if you really believe that, then somebody's speech would be about how America effed up and how things are about to be really bad.
Leaving that man
He's
alone.
the most powerful man in the world now.
Well, it just makes you wonder how much of it did they really believe, or how much of it was just politics.
Now,
That's all.
You can be weird or you can be pretentious, but you can't be both. And Democrats are weird and pretentious, right?
I agree.
Like a good example, we were talking about this on Flagrant. Remember that stupid haircut I had?
Sure.
You remember where
Which
I
one?
shaved the sides?
Oh, yeah. Which one? You've had a few.
Yeah, but the stupidest one. The one where I basically,
For
it was
a
like a
roll?
bowl cut. Yeah.
But it's for a roll.
Right. If somebody came up to me like, why do you have the haircut? And I was like, what, do you not understand fashion? Do you not understand luxury? What are you, a Nazi? Like, how dare you judge his haircut? People would be like, shut the up, bro. You got a weird haircut. Stop acting like, and that's Democrats. But if somebody came up to me and they're like, what's up with that haircut? And I go, I know it's kind of odd. It's just a weird thing. I was trolling people and like people really annoyed about it. So I just doubled down. Then immediately those people go, oh, I get it. That's kind of fine. If you disagree with Democrat rhetoric, some of it, not all of it, some of the rhetoric, the extreme rhetoric, the reaction is, what are you, a Nazi? What are you, hateful? What are you, a bigot?
We're all Americans. We want what's best for America. Now, I like these conversations because guess what? There is a midterm in 2 years. Then there's another presidential election in 4 years. Maybe if he does the right thing.
Can I throw real quick?
Andrew Rye is one of the weird and pretentious people. Like, they literally, you could go down the list, Roland Martin, all these people. What is their main argument? They say that the people that are disagreeing with them are uninformed, stupid, dumb fools, as Roland would say, stupid, dumb fools. And those people are the ones that are now in the majority. So who's a stupid, dumb fool for real? But anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. That way you can stay up to date on all things Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media.